Today we're going to be answering questions that are sure to break a reader. Sounds like so much fun. Hey, hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jesse, and today we're going to be doing a bit of a would you rather situation. Mind you, not just like silly fun would you rather questions, really hard reader would you rather questions that will have you questioning everything. Another opportunity for me to spiral. Love it. I already put these questions up on my Instagram recently, at Jesse the Reader if you want to follow me, and I'll be reacting to what got the most and least votes in those polls. I've listed all the would you rather questions down below in the description if you want to play along down below in the comments. Let's get started. Would you rather be spoiled for a character death or how a book series ends? I have a weird relationship with spoilers these days. Like, they don't affect me as much as they used to. Mind you, I don't enjoy being spoiled. It's not something that like I seek. Like, I'm not going into a book being like, let me spoil myself before I go into it. That's not it. But like, if I accidentally get spoiled for something, it's not like the end of the world like it used to be. Like, I used to be the most dramatic person ever when it came to spoilers. Like, I'd be like, it's the end of the world, my life is ruined. Now I'm much more chill. Yeah, right. But like, I'm much more chill when it comes to spoilers. It definitely takes out the element of surprise, but it doesn't ruin the story for me because I feel like you still don't know the stepping stones to get to that spoiler, to get to that big reveal. If I get spoiled for a character death, I still want to know like how we got there and the effects that happened after. Mind you, I say all this and like, I feel like I would still probably be upset if I got spoiled for like a big character death. I'd probably be pretty upset. I will say though that like knowing spoilers does like detach me from the impact that I might have felt had I not known the spoilers, but it doesn't like completely ruin my experience for a book and make me not want to read it. With that being said, I really saw a rabbit hole and jumped into it. I feel like I would much rather be spoiled for a character death over the end of a series. Which can I just say that most authors are not out here killing major characters. They're killing off the side characters that nobody cares about. Which a part of me is okay with because protect my faves, protect my main characters. But also, y'all are cowards and you're not killing characters that people actually care about. I feel like knowing a character death going into a book will help me in the long run because I won't get attached to that character that will die, and it will give me a chance to protect my heart, even though I'm used to my heart being stabbed by a book. That's not a new feeling for me. Even though, again, all these authors are cowards and are not killing off people that we care about. Seems like most of you agree with me. 63% said character death and 37% said series ending. Would you rather be forced to read the beginning of a book and not the end, or forced to read the end of a book and not the beginning of the book? This one is hard because there are two different scenarios here that could happen, that could come into play. I'm the type of person that likes context, and the first part of the book, the beginning of a book, provides context, gives background, builds you up for what you're getting in the end. Another tricky part of this and another issue I see popping up if you choose to only read the first part of the book is that like you might get addicted to that first part of the book. Like you might feel that feeling where like you love that book. You feel like it's going to be your favorite book. And if you only chose the beginning, you're not going to be able to get to the end. And that infuriating. Another scenario though is that oftentimes that second chunk of the book can go downhill. Things can start to drag, the ending can be rushed, things can be open-ended, which sometimes I don't mind. An open-ending ending is not always the worst thing ever, but then there are the times when it's the worst thing ever. After processing all that information, I think the first part of the book is the most important for me, but it also will be so frustrating if I choose the first half of the book and like I end up loving it and I need the ending of the book to know what happens. I think I would be stupid not to choose the ending though. I think I would be stupid. So I'm gonna choose the ending. The ending. I would be forced to read the ending. I'm realizing that I'm falling into that place where I'm taking this game a little too seriously, so I need to chill, need to relax. I'm choosing the ending. I thought this one would be a little bit more divided, but 36% of you said forced to read beginning and not finish, whereas 64% said that you would rather be forced to read the ending and not the beginning. Would you rather pick up a book and it be sticky, or pick up a book that had smooshed bugs in between its pages? Let's get one thing straight here. Neither, but I would much rather pick up a book that had bugs squished between its pages because what is this sticky substance? You don't know, I don't know. And this might be a situation where you don't want to know what it is. I'm not touching it. And with the bugs, at least you know it's bugs. At least you can see with your eyeballs what the squishiness is. I'm not touching something that is sticky and not knowing what the source of that stickiness is. This one is pretty close. 53% of you said sticky and 47% of you said bugs. Team bugs all the way. Would you rather be forced to tattoo a book cover on your butt cheeks? Not me grabbing my butt cheeks when saying that. Or tattoo the entire text of a book all over your body. If it was like a 5-page book, I'd be all for it. Like, write all over me, baby. But if it's a full-length novel, then chances are I'm gonna have text all over my body in every crack and crevice. And sure, it'd be nice for the people around me when they're bored standing in the grocery line and I'm in front of them, they can read my body, read a little novel while they wait in line. But I don't want to be bringing any unnecessary attention to myself. The butt cheeks, on the other hand, at least I keep my booty hidden from the world. The only chance of people seeing it is if I wear a thong to the beach, and that ain't happening. So tat up my booty, baby. Where is this video going? Wow, cover on booty slaughtered, text all over body. We've got 75% that said cover on the booty and 25% that said text all over the body. Some of you just really want to be read. Would you rather each chapter of a book end with a character death, or forget what happens in the last chapter with every new chapter you start? This is another situation where it just feels like you can't win, albeit I do feel like that there is an answer that I'm leaning towards, but let's talk it through. Constantly having character death at the end of every chapter is emotional whiplash. Let me just live in a cesspool of emotional torture. I'm sure at some point you'd just get used to it and numb to it all and it wouldn't even matter anymore. It's just like another one, another one, another one. Then, forgetting everything that happens in the chapter before when you go into a new chapter, what's the point in that? You're not obtaining and holding the information like it's just sliding right on by. That is not the vibe. I feel like at some point it's like, am I even reading? Because I'm not holding the information. Like, sure, you are reading, like you're doing the act of reading, but like it's not sticking with you. Constant character death it is, even though that sounds like no fun at all. Bring on the pain. Bring on the emotion, let's go. As to be expected, character death, slaughtered, forget the last chapter. I'm not surprised at all. Because again, what's the point if you forget everything that happened in the last chapter? There's not a point. Goodness! Would you rather have a book with a great concept but horrible writing, or have a book with a boring concept but good writing? This one probably should not be a tough one, but it is for me. I've read so many books in the past few years where they've had these like really incredible concepts, so I go into the books like really excited. I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be the best book ever. Then I get into the book and just the execution of the book, the execution of the concept is not it. Does not pass the vibe check, and I get disappointed time and time again. It's one of those situations where the description is better than the book itself. The description makes the book sound amazing. You get into the book and you get that disappointment. Anyway, I see myself falling into a rabbit hole rant situation here. I'm gonna pull myself out of the hole and move on. In my eyes, if a concept is executed well, I can overlook bad writing. I mean, the perfect situation here is solid writing, amazing execution with the concept. But we're not getting the best of both worlds here, are we? Now, a boring concept with a solid writing style can still be a really good book based on the writing style alone. Like, sometimes that's all it takes. You can still have a boring concept and make it exciting and interesting and unique with the writing style. Ugh, this is tough. I think, I don't know. I think there's a part of me that's just like hungry for books that have these amazing concepts that are executed well, and so that's why I'm leaning towards the first one, where it's a solid executed concept with not so great writing. Like, I can overlook the not so great writing. So I'm gonna lean towards that. I'm going with that. But I'm also leaving this would you rather question not very confident and questioning if I should just dive on to the other one. But again, it's not that serious. Oh my god. Wake up. Wake up. I'm going with the first one. Solid concept, not so great writing. Boom. 40% of you were on my team with the pairing of great concept and bad writing. 60% of you said boring concept but with good writing. That just proves that we all have such different needs and wants when it comes to books. Would you rather be sucked into a fictional world and not be able to interact with any of your favorite characters, or have your favorite fictional characters visit your world temporarily? I'm going to talk this through because there are a few things running through my mind in thinking about this question. Because one, would I be going into the world of my favorite book? And two, if that favorite book is fantastical, will I have fantastical abilities, or will I just be my normal self living in that world? I'm just going to walk through my favorite book and the situation that I would be hopping into. That's Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, which is our world, but it has like fantastical elements within it. It has time loops, so you can go into the past and back into the present. I honestly don't know if I would want to live in that world, because basically the only perk is that like you get to like hop in and out of time loops. If I were to go into that world, I would want to be peculiar. I don't want to be boring old me. Even though I feel like a lot of the abilities are like not super helpful and sometimes can just be like really odd just for the sake of being odd, so I don't know. So that's where my headspace is. The world is not that different from my own. It's basically my world, but with time loops. Two, I'm probably not going to have abilities. Like, it's just going to be me, little old me. And three, I won't be able to talk to my favorite characters. What's the point? I don't want that. I think I would rather just have the chance to interact with my favorite characters, even if temporarily. Like, that just seems like a much more ideal situation to me. Even though there is that situation where it's like, you should never meet your idols. You should never meet the people that you look up to because they will just only disappoint you. Like, that's the only fear that I have going into this. But like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna meet my favorite characters and not dive into the world. 38% of you said that you would rather be sucked into a fictional world, whereas 62% of you said that you would rather temporarily visit with favorite characters. Again, I feel like this is one of those situations where it like just depends on the book. Like for my situation, I wouldn't necessarily want to hop into the Miss Peregrine's world because it's too much like our world, but like if it was some kind of fantastical, unique, and fun world, like I'm hopping in that book, okay? It's a very situational would you rather. Would you rather have a book smell terribly while reading it, or have a book sting you every time you touched it? Basically another situation where both options are not ideal. Cool. I feel like there is only one correct answer here though, but let me talk you through it, of course. I think with the stinky book situation, you can just wear a mask and you won't be able to smell it. I mean, you might be able to still smell it a little bit, but like not as much, and you'll still be able to read without like throwing up or wanting to vomit every page. The sting situation is much worse because no matter what, you're gonna get stung because you have to like flip the page. Unless you get some kind of like utensil to like help you flip the page, then you're golden, but then it's still not like an ideal situation because you can just like never touch that book. Like that's unfortunate. Like I want to hold my books, I want to hug my books, I want to flip my books pages, and that just like cancels that out even being an option. So plus the good thing about the book smell one is that it's like only while you're reading it. So like if you put it back on the shelf, you're not going to be able to smell it. It's only while you're reading it. So I can make do with that. Not me finding loopholes for these would you rather questions that I came up with. This one is closer than I expected. 59% of you said that you would rather have a stinky book, and 41% of you said that you would rather have a book that stings you every time you touch it. To each their own, no judgment. I considered the stinging book until I like thought it out, and then I was like, nope, nope, nope. Would you rather have a book disappear from existence after reading it, or never be able to talk about the books that you love? This one is so hard and actually so mean. Who made these questions? Hey, I did it. I just feel like no matter what, you're in a bad situation here. With the first one, the book disappearing from existence, that means when you talk to people about it, they're not gonna know what you're talking about because the book doesn't exist. Like it, poof, be gone. So you just look like a weird person that's talking about a book that was made up. And then the other one, like it just sucks because I don't know about you guys, but like when there's something I'm passionate about, something that I love, like I wanna talk about it. I wanna talk about it with other people. Hence why I made this YouTube channel, to talk about books with other people. And so like being in a situation where I'm not able to talk about the books that I love, cruel. The worst. I don't want that. I mean, really, like, both of these just are the worst. But I think that I would go with not being able to talk about them. Because at least the books would, like, still exist. At least I would still have the books to go back to. At least I would be able to reread the books. Whereas the first one, they would just, like, disappear from existence. And people would think that I'm weird and cuckoo when talking about them because, like, the books wouldn't exist anymore. So, like, such a cruel one, but I'm going with option 2, where I'm just not able to talk about the books that I love. Even though it hurts, it burns. 28% of you said that you would rather the book disappear from existence after you read it, and then 72% of you said you would rather just never be able to talk about the books that you love. Would you rather sacrifice a book that you love, aka never be able to read it again, in order to bring back to life a dead character, or sacrifice a book you love, again, not being able to read it ever again, in order for a bad book with a good concept to be revamped into an incredible book? I feel like nobody's gonna agree with me on this one, and that's okay, but like, I would much rather have the incredible book, the book that is just like revamped into an incredible book. Like, I get that it's really sad when our favorite characters die, but I also feel like sometimes that's just gotta happen. Like sometimes those really big character deaths are what make those books so impactful. Of course I care for these characters, of course I want them to be protected at all costs, but sometimes sacrifices need to be made. And I feel like specifically just to tell you where my headspace is, I am thinking of like fantasy books, dystopian, sci-fi, that kind of stuff. Like there are these situations that our characters are put in. A lot of times it's war. A lot of times it's them going up against this like really grand villain. When there are situations like this and there are no casualties, honey, the likelihood of everyone going unscathed, unrealistic. All that to say, I would rather sacrifice a book to have another book be revamped. Amazing. This one is much more divided than I thought it was going to be. I thought most of you would pick the dead character, like bringing a dead character back to life, but interesting, learning something new today. I just feel like the vibe that I've caught when I talk to you guys in comments and things is that you much more care about the characters and that you just feel so passionately about them, but good to know that we're kind of in the middle here. Would you rather read a book with cringy dialogue or a book with terribly boring characters? Give me the cringe. I don't want to read about uninteresting people. I'm already a very uninteresting person. Like, I myself am boring. I don't want to read about people like me. I want to read about messy characters with flamboyant personalities causing all sorts of chaos. Even though the cringy dialogue will cause me to have all sorts of like secondhand embarrassment, I will take that over boring characters. Cringy dialogue slaughtered boring characters, as to be expected. 72% said cringy dialogue, 28% said boring characters. characters. Would you rather read a book with horrible grammar or a book filled with misspellings? I feel like I'm the type of person that would much more so notice misspellings over grammar. And maybe that's because I myself don't have the best grammar. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, I just feel like I'd be able to overlook grammar mistakes, whereas like the misspellings would probably like take me out of the book and like have me being like, oh, they misspelled something. And that's because that's exactly what I do every time I see a misspelled word in a book. I'm like, oop, they misspelled that. They didn't catch that in editing. Oop, 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 oop. Lastly, 34% of you said horrible grammar and 66% of you said misspellings. Team misspellings! That is all the hard would you rather questions that I have today. I am in fact not broken. I did not break. The questions might not have had me broken, but they sure did frustrate me, says the person who came up with the frustrating questions. Again, I want to know your results to all of these questions down below in the comments, so be sure to let me know all your thoughts. If you like this video, be sure to go and hit that like button. If you want to see more bookish content from me, be sure to go and hit subscribe or go and hit that bell icon and you'll be notified every time I post new videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope your day is bright and tomorrow is brighter. Keep reading what your heart desires and I will see you soon with that new video. Bye.